And we're alive.
Yes, we are. And in what great times are we alive?
That is true. That is
You
true.
know,
Buying in the middle of, yeah,
how like it seems like crazy times and it seems at the face of it, it seems that, oh, what a bad time to be in with everything that's going on. But oh my God, the change that's available and the change that's possible, and um, the 10 seconds increment of choice and being present. Like when I find it, and I know how it's showing up for you, but every time that I find myself in sort of quicksand sort of energy, I know that I can choose something that I'm not choosing. So
yeah,
it's
I love.
so much more, but from a very space of relaxed. Um, how's it
I think the
feel?
trick is that I think the trick is that from that space of being relaxed, because yeah, you're right. It's like an awesome time to be alive, and even though everyone in this reality makes it about not such a great time to be alive, because it's also technically. I like the fact that it's not predetermined. Like we don't know how things are going to go, and like everything is going to be a choice from here on.
Yep.
So you get to choose what your reality is going to show up as, and like that energy of oh my god, I get to decide like how my life is going to show up. I get to decide how my reality is going to show up. I get to decide how my money is going to show up. um, it's so freaking exciting that I often mistake it for an overwhelm or like this sort of like kind of an energy. And then I've got to remind myself, wait, 1 second. Is it really, or is it just like the sense of, oh my freaking God, I have to choose now?
Yeah. And what can you choose? Like, what would you like to choose? And like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and so the title, what are we talking about today, is
You chose the title, which is What's Money Got to Do with It? And I love it because it's never about the money, is it?
no, right? But that's the thing. That's one of the things that I'm finding out about myself more and more, is that everywhere that I am unwilling to show up as the brilliance that I am, or acknowledge it, or see the gift that I am, or me just being around is, I use money not to, where I'm like, oh, I can't really choose that because, money. And that is one of the key reasons that most of us use not to choose all that we
Yeah.
can all that we can choose and all that we can be.
I like that you say that also because I've realized that very often when something doesn't show up the way I ask it to show up, and I'm making money the excuse, I also then have to remember all the times when if I really wanted to do it, even if I had nothing on me, I made it happen. So clearly, it's not about the money. There's always something else going on, right? It's either you don't really want it, or mm,
Never really wanted it, just put it there so that you can constantly make yourself feel like shit and bad. You
exactly.
permission granted, you don't everyone who's listening in and tuning in, you don't need permission granted to not to put things onto your list that you never wanted to choose anyways.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's really funny how we will forget all the times that we've chosen something and like moved heaven and earth, and not really like because you've been so relaxed and you just know it and things just show up and everything falls in place. And then there are times when I've actually moved heaven and earth and made sure that I have it, or I'm there in that class, or in that for that holiday, or I've just made it happen, right? Because I chose it, because I was like, I'm having it. But then when I have these things where I make it about the money and then I can't do the class, or I can't have that thing that I've been asking for, or I don't do that thing. And then I'll use that for such a long time to beat myself up. And how that just becomes so much louder in our universe. And it's that almost as if we need to use that as a sounding board or a foundation to go like never again, when it actually, you don't have to hit that, it's not wrong, but you don't have to hit that low to go like I'm having greater.
Yep. You can just keep choosing and being more and more. And also, like, what if, yeah, like it is, what if it was like an exploration, but not about like moving towards a better life? Like, one of the things that, um, there's so many places we can go with this. I wonder what people would like to know about money.
That thing that everywhere we like sort of, we are so entrained to, I want to go I actually want to take the conversation here, that how many of us, my question is, how many of us have been entrained like while we were growing up and have been told that, you have to live within your means, so therefore you have to see how much money you have before you choose anything. If you're going shopping, you have to budget it. If you are choosing a class, you got to make sure that, downright to, will I earn that much money once I do the class, can I cover up the cost, and also things like, if I spend this, am I taking it away from, what I really essentially need to live, as though I only came here to pay bills.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, one of the things, I was seeing someone's video today, and they were really talking about like how, we have these things and how we require to, what are the things that we require to choose, and what's the right way to choose it for you to be able to actually thrive and have a life. So my actually challenge is, not really challenge, but my ask is, what if nothing that you chose was wrong? Firstly. Secondly, what if there was no right way?
Just the way that worked for you.
Yeah, because if you're looking at, like, if you everywhere that you're looking for that right place, right way of choosing something is where you're giving up, like, on what you know, what you're aware of, what you could ask for, where you get to be what you can be, and also the adventure of it. Like, if you're looking at doing how you're supposed to be generating, I've been looking at like some really different, like, I've been looking at different money videos, and I'm looking at how different people, millionaires and billionaires, multimillionaires and multi-billionaires, who have generated the money, and I'm looking at it. It was so interesting because everyone has a different point of view, and how they've generated it is so different than the other.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway from all those. One of my key takeaways is not that I have to do it like them, but like, A, it's possible. B, it's not for it that you will create and generate. You will create and generate for what is fun for you, and you will have it. The money, you include the money. And C, that I can totally have my own points of views and different ways of generating and creating it. So what is that even going to be like and look like? So what if there was no right way of generating and creating money, or being money, or having money? But what if here's an invitation for you to start exploring what is true for you, and what would that even be like?
Yeah. And I'd like to add to that actually, also like, in the sense of, in the global foundation, David Kubes had this little talk about money, which was like, an after class thing. And it really blew my mind, because probably for the first time, I know I heard it a zillion times, but for the first time it really sort of sunk in. I had this penny drop moment that money is here to support your choices. It is not here to determine what you can choose. You can choose anything.
Mm-hmm.
And money is just one of those things that can contribute to it actualizing faster or easier, or, for you to have it, in the most ease, joy, and glorious way. But it is not here to determine what you can choose. Like, I think I listened to that call maybe 3 times to get that, oh my god, it's just here to support your choices, just to make transactions easy. It's just energy. It's not greater than you. It doesn't predetermine your choice. It's just energy. And you, if it's just energy and you are just energy, so you and money is the same.
Yep.
Is my connection lagging?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
You're doing good.
Good. Thank you. You're doing good, babe. I needed to hear that today. Thank you. And that kind of like, and that's exactly how I've always lived my life. Like, I've always chosen first, and then that's the thing, right? But then it's made so wrong because it's like you're always living outside your means, whatever that means.
But that's the thing. Like, if you're willing to know how much is required for you, like what is it that you desire to create, then that would include everything that can actually contribute to that, and that includes money. We do this really weird thing of where we separate it from the choices, like the energy of money, the energy of wealth, the energy of creation. We sort of
Yeah,
separate it as if it's outside of us and it's something that is the source of what we can be and create. But when you're
yeah,
choosing to be and create, like if I'm choosing to go meet you, like if I'm looking at like, oh, it'll be fun to meet Sangeeta tomorrow, I'm going to make sure there's fuel in my car.
yeah,
If I'm going to be outdoors, I'm going to always make sure that my phone is charged and my laptop is charged or not. I've had those days where it's not, and that's not fun. So, if you're choosing a life of ease, would that include money and or would that exclude it? And what would that be like and look like? So we do this really random thing about justifying why we have or not have or why we hate or love money. Whereas it's what if that was not even the question? We do have that, of course, because we have like entrained those points of views. But what if that separation was not required? And what if creating your life included everything and all the energies that are required for it and the fuel?
yeah. And like that's it. When we say money, we all go to like either cash or your bank accounts or investments. Whereas money is the energy of of the life that you're living. Actually, like you said, the fuel in your car, your battery being charged, your laptop being charged, all of that is money. The good teacup that you're drinking your tea out of, even that is money. Or the fact that you have hot water in winters and cold water in summers, all of that is money. But we never look at it that way. Like
Or
we
that
think
if you have none of this stuff and you have you, that is also money.
absolutely. And also that thing that you said about making money something outside of us and then making that as the source of our creation. In fact, we do we do another funny thing. We make something else the source of our money as well, like our jobs
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
our businesses or our spouses. And like it was quite a revelation to sort of get that, oh, I chose this life, including where I was born, including where I got married, including whatever I have in my life right now. So therefore, if I had a great life as a child and I was covered with like toys and gifts, and that too was my choice, and that too was me being money, being abundance, right? But like so many times when we're like in a class or when we're facilitating, it's like they don't get it because there's this whole sense of what you're saying, like we separate so much, like, oh no, but that was my parents' money, like, right, it wasn't my money. Oh no, that's my husband's money, it wasn't my money, right? And then
Yeah.
also like
I
I
didn't create it. But what if everything that showed up in your life is your creation and your choice? Yep.
absolutely. And oh my God, like, I mean, yeah, you're right. We can go in like 10,000 ways. And I also love the way that you touched upon, like, when you said include everything, including money, which means I need to get really clear about, I mean, it's a choice, but what would getting really clear about the kind of life you'd like to live and enjoy and thrive in, and what that would really cost you, and actually begin to ask for that so that it can actually show up. and like with no point of view, right, as to where that shows
with
up from.
with everything, like, yeah, like willingness to include, like, that's what the fun thing about it is, the willingness to include everything and not judge anything. It's so then you would even include cash flow, and you would also include gold, and you would also include, but you would have so much more choice. And that's what the invitation of How to Become Money workbook is, because it sort of
Absolutely.
expands your world into this world of possibilities where everything is available. Like if you're looking at create, like, first, like, getting a sense of what is it you would like to create, and that could be as easy as a life of ease. Even if you
Yeah.
don't want, like, you don't want, like, we're not looking at some concrete, like, predictable sort of future, but whatever that energy of the future that you would like to live is, of, like, of ease, then what do you require to be aware of, and what do you require to be present with, and what are the choices that are available to you that are not available to everyone else, that if you were willing to include it, will allow them to actually just show up with ease.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the things that I get, like, I'm realizing that about myself is, anywhere that I'm anywhere that I'm unwilling to have an awareness of, or like I have, there's an avoidance or a refusal to be aware of something, is where the key lies to something greater, to something different.
Yeah.
So it's just, and it's not hard work. It's way more hard work to avoid, way more
Yeah.
hard work, and way more painful. So if your life is seeming like way more hard and way more painful, you're avoiding a lot more things that are way more fun and way more ease for you. And you could ask for them to start showing up. And that's one of the things that I'm realizing. Like, it's the, you know, it's the including of everything and having, like, that clarity of what's actually going to work for you and what's going to work, and the willingness to have a life that works.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like money is like one of the easiest things to change, and I know that those are, that may be watching us now or in the future, and you're still struggling with money, and you're like, you want to go like, hey, the tool I've been using the tools, but it's uh, just not working, and it's just not changing. Like one of the things that I had to look very long and hard at was, do I even like money? Because if you don't like it, you're not ever going to have it. And I thought I liked it, but that was because everybody said you must like money. But when I really looked at it, I didn't. I hated it. I had like so many reasons to sort of refuse it because I'd already decided that it creates a lot of problems, and you should just have enough to sort of sustain yourself. And I know that I mentioned this before, but I had this almost like pride of just having enough and also needing very little until that changed. And
I
these
I actually have always been accused of, like, always wanting more. So I have a bit of a different story on that coin.
yeah,
But
no
yes,
matter
like,
where
there
you
is,
are, no
yeah,
matter
you
where you
just
are on the
got that.
spectrum.
You just got that. Like, you just got an ice cream, you want another one. You just bought couple of pair of shoes, you want more. Yeah, but it's not even about that. But it's not about the number of shoes. It's about acknowledging that you desire more.
Yeah, and like you said that you were on the other end of the spectrum where you were always wanting more, and I was always saying, no, no, I don't need it. No, no, I don't need it. No, I don't need it. No, I have one. I really don't need more. Like, but what am I going to do with 5 bags when I only carry one, right? Um, My God, it used to be my favorite saying as well that, no matter what, at the end of the day, you're only going to have 2 rotis because more than that is going to hurt your stomach. So you really don't need more. Oh, everything that is. Let's
And
destroy
for,
that today.
right,
That
goodbye, folks.
boys and
Anyone who's watching this and doesn't know what the hell we just said, that was a clearing statement to access consciousness. It is just watching Magic One, and it is theclearingstatement.com. Is that what it is?
Yes, it is. It is
Theclearingstatement.com?
theclearingstatement.com. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because for me it was like, I remember, like, every my granny would like give us some money for our birthday, and I had to like stand there and say no. And my entire, because that's what I was supposed to, but my entire world is going like, oh, I could use this money for this, and I could create this with it, and I could give it to this person, or I could use it like that. And it's like, what if we could have that ease and joy with it, with everything and all the energies, and you could have fun with it rather than having to make it this tiresome thing that is always far away, out of reach, in front, that you can't seem to get a hold of? And how much of that is you?
Yeah. All in all we're saying is that the How to Become Money workbook allows you to look at all these places and spaces where you are refusing to have money, be money, uh, the point of views that you're operating from that keeps money outside of you instead of like you being money, being the source of your money. And of course, there are so many other gems and treasures. And I've done the money workbook a zillion times, and so has Ina. And every time it feels like so new, and every time it like hits us harder, there's always another layer that you can let go of, which just means there's a little more money that we can ask for, a lot more money that we can ask for, and our lives just get greater. So here's an invitation from Ina and me to all of you to join us for a 10 call series of the How to Become Money workbook, which is starting on the 26th of November. And well, you've got both of us, and the topic is money. So if that is not enough of an invitation, then I don't think anything else will be.
Hello.
I mean,
I mean,
I mean,
hello.
hello, and yeah, hello.
And
I
money and
mean,
gold, and yeah.
yeah.
Mine, this thing, yes. Just like before we go, what's changed for you with How to Become Money workbook?
What changed for me with the How to Become Money workbook was I had to really look at, like, oh my God, a choice before the money. Two, I can have money just by asking for it. Like it's not something that I have to work very hard at. I just have to desire to have it, and it shows up when I ask for it. So it's not my job, it's not my work, it's not the classes that I do, it's not the work that I do, but it is the energy that I be that is an invitation for money. And it is also in the choices that I make, because I know that every time I'm content, my money actually kind of stops. Like it doesn't drop, but it stops. Like I don't grow. And one of the things on one of the How to Become Money workbook calls with Chris that we just did recently, there was this conversation about I create everything that I've asked for. And it's true. I've always created everything I've asked for. When I put out an amount that I would like, it shows up. It's when when I stop asking for more is when it stops. And that was what I had to look at, like, oh, what is this, so from and it's not wrong to start from anywhere. Like I said, you could be anywhere on the spectrum where you just wanted to have a little more than the bills that you pay, or you wanted a totally different reality with your money. And it doesn't matter how long you take to get there. It doesn't matter whether you choose to do it in steps, because I did. Like I was like, okay, let me have 50,000 in my bank account. Then it was very slowly, it became I would like to always have 1 lakh in my bank account. Now I feel uncomfortable if anything is below 5 lakhs in my bank account. But then I just realized very recently that this doesn't cut it too. Anything less than a 7 digit just doesn't work. Like I don't, my body doesn't feel good. And like that just means I have to be like a bigger demand. And then the question is, okay, what do I need to be and do for it? It's got, and look at that. So you could go this way, or you could just go like, no, you know what, I'm not living a small life, I'm having that grand life, I'm having that big life, so I'll do whatever the fuck it takes. And you could get there like that as well, and nothing is wrong, nothing, like Ina said. And I love this about her, because every time she says that to me, like my world just relaxes. What if you were never, 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 ever, 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 ever wrong?
Yeah, for wanting money, not wanting money.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because yeah, right at the beginning, I would only create money when I needed it. Like if I had a bill to pay, or if I wanted to do that class, that's when I would like energetically get to work and be
What a
that demand
capacity
and
is
push
that?
more. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, I do have a capacity, but like it doesn't have to be only when I need it, right? I can just have it. And what would that create?
Yep. And it's, yeah, and like, what if you didn't require reasons and justification? One of the key things that I remember the first time that I did How to Become Money workbook, the first thing that really shifted for me was this thing about, I could always, like you said, I could always create, and I wonder how many people can get that, right? That they've always managed to create money for whatever that they really chose and wanted. But I could always create money, and it's always expanded and grown. However, I would create it and I couldn't really like I didn't have it. Like I would create it and then I would spend it. I would create it and then I would use it. Um, but this whole, and so it didn't really have the energy, like it didn't have the energy of like this whole future, like the future that I would like. So what the first time it changed for me is that, oh, like if I chose this today, I would have money in the future, or I have with this in the future. Like if I chose to always have, it was a very simple thing, I'll tell you, like car fuel. We could, it, it wasn't really always about money, it was about the choice. I would always manage to create the fuel in the car, but I always didn't fill it up and tank it up. So there would be times when I'm reaching home late at night, and I'll be like, I'll just suddenly notice the fuel tank, and I'll go, holy cow, pull in fuel from everywhere. Car, pull in fuel. I've done that a few times where I pulled in the fuel from other cars, and I've seen the needle go up. But after doing that a few times, I realized it's fun. I know I'm potent. I can create that, but it wasn't necessarily that much ease. I was like, I can choose more ease than that. This choice is not necessarily creating.
Absolutely.
So when I started
Yeah.
looking at, so it's really like that. It's the willingness. So at that moment, at some point, I chose and asked for what would it take for my car to be always full tank, or always filling it at full and always having decent amount of fuel for me to go anywhere that I would like to. Since that time, my car's always had fuel.
Yeah.
And it's not always me who fills it up, but it's always there.
Yeah. How
And
does
it's
it
the
get any better
same
than
thing.
this?
Yeah. So what would that look like with your business, with your creation, with relationship, with money, with everything in your life, with your life, with the business of living your life? What would that be like? Like, what is it that you truly desire? What is true for you? What will give you that sense of ease and peace and relaxation that you actually naturally be?
And on that note, we will put the link to the class before we give away the entire class here, all 10
But
calls.
this class is way
And
more, it's not givable in one.
so,
This class is not givable.
yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to like, if you would like to start choosing a different reality with your money, and it's open to anyone who's done it before as well, because I remember Gary saying, if you do this workbook 100 times, you will never have a money issue. And I can guarantee no one's done it 100 times yet. At least not anybody I know. Because oh my god, we when we know it can change something, we will make sure that we don't do it for the longest time. So
But
everything that is,
we know of a few people who've made millions by using these tools. So don't you dare.
yes. So you don't do it and don't join us. And that's the link. And we'll see you soon. From this to
Money come,
this.
money come, money come, money come, money come.
I see you soon.